Hey everyone, it is Brian Kaz here, joined by my friend and business partner Sean Casey. We'll get going in just about 30 seconds or so. We see there's still a lot of people jumping on the call right now. And as a reminder, as a side note, this call will always be Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, which is right now. Although you guys should note that there's a handful of places around the globe that either recently or will in the near future have a time change. So make sure for the next week or two to always check what 2 p.m. Eastern Time is here on Wednesday. So I'm guessing a handful of people might show up a bit late because I think there was a time change in the UK. And even though we made this announcement a couple times, just one more time, we're just saying make sure to pay special attention to that. And Sean, since you're here on this call, what was the change that happens next week that you're saying? I forgot if it jumps ahead or behind for those.
Well, our clock falls back, which means that we will now be, this webinar is now 5 hours different from GMT, so it will be 7 p.m. GMT.
Okay.
Previously, we were 5 hours different from London, but London was -1 or was +1 GMT or whatever. But anyway, we'll go back to 5 hours different from the UK and 6 hours from other parts of Europe, and people in Australia will have to catch up because they go the opposite way. And at some point in here, the Australians will like shift 2 hours different than us, and it's very confusing when the time moves.
Yeah. If only everyone could keep the exact same times. Without all these time changes and all that. So anyway, guys, just want to make a quick announcement on that, just in case. So make sure to pay attention to that because next week we'll have some pretty cool training as well that you won't want to miss. So this week, which we'll get going on in just a second, this will be all about how to sell high-end web services. So that's something that all members of WebFire can do right now because you all have access to a lot of amazing tools that can do a lot of stuff, including stuff that is of a lot of value to other businesses and such, where you can turn it into high-end services and stuff that you can sell. So we'll get going in just a few seconds right here. All right, and as always, towards the end of this call, we'll have our cash giveaway as well. So to be prepped for that, you'll want to make sure that you're a member of our WebFire Facebook group, and to go to that, you just have to go to getwebfire.com/FB group. So getwebfire.com/FB group. Sharon will have a post up basically asking what you thought of the training, and if you leave a comment on that, we'll pick a random winner at the end of this call to win $100 cash. But all of you will be winners on this call because we'll be giving you lots of info, and we'll talk about an opportunity to actually work with us as well. So without further ado, we can get this show on the road here. So once again, my name is Brian Kaz. I'm joined by my friend and business partner, Sean Casey. And this call is all about how to sell high-end web services for top dollar with minimal work. So before we jump into all that, I just want to briefly go over the basics right here. So again, this is one of WebFire's Wednesday webinars, and it's every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll host either live training and or a Q&A call for WebFire members. These trainings will either feature myself, Brian Kaz, Sean Casey, both of us at once, or occasionally a featured special guest if we think that their expertise would be of value to our members. If you're here or registered for this series, you'll get a reminder each week, so don't forget. But if you can't make one, we'll have the recordings in the members area, usually within about a day, and they'll be under the training tab on the left side navigation bar under the Wednesday webinars. Use these calls as an opportunity to get even more training, ask strategy-type questions, get feedback, or make suggestions on what else you'd like to see or be trained on. Special note, make sure to check out our prior Webfire Wednesday webinars and our Webfire trainings, as there's tons of info already there that a lot of you are asking for more training on. So make sure that you view some of the prior training before trying to ask for, hey, can you do a call on just this or just that, when we already have some calls that are done on just that. So make sure to pay special attention to that right there. And of course, you can join our free Webfire group, which is just getwebfire.com/FB group. It's a fairly active group. You can ask questions and stuff there. You can interact with others. You can brag about stuff that you've done, and all that is good places to do so right there. So again, it's just getwebfire.com/FB group. And if you're not a free member of that yet, join that right now by going to that link. Sharon or Jill, once you request access to it, they'll approve of you very, very quickly, usually within minutes. And at the end of this call, you'll have a chance to win $100 cash. And as a reminder, too, there's not only a support help desk inside of Webfire in case there's ever any email issues at all. Sometimes an email might go to spam or something like that. But we also have a support email at support@webfire.com. So don't feel like you have to wait until, a training call to ask a question. You can reach us at any time, and they're very, very prompt, and their replies are promises that we'll always get back to you in one business day or less. Usually it's within a matter of like an hour or two or so, as long as you don't write at like 3 in the morning when, we're obviously asleep. But yeah, very responsive support, so take advantage of that if you need to. And very, very quickly, we'll talk about the Webfire member rules to success. Number 1, follow the steps and the trainings that we have. Don't try to bypass it, because you'll get frustrated if stuff does not work out the way you think because you haven't watched the training on it. Number 2, don't give up. And seek help when needed, but don't get too dependent. That basically means, if you need help, by all means ask for help, but if a quick 2-second Google search can solve your, problem, by all means do that first, because you can save a lot of time, and you don't have to get too dependent. That's always a good trait to learn how to do. Number 3, no whining or negative attitudes, because I think this is really the quickest way to fail. If you're looking for something to be down about, you'll always find something to be down about. So try to look for the positives in anything that you do, and I think that's one of the best ways to be successful quickly. So now let's move on to our training. So here's what we'll cover today. We'll talk about what to sell for premium prices. We'll talk about increasing the value of anything that you sell, how to sell high-end web services, and some ways that you can get started doing just that, as well as the Q&A and cash giveaway. And at the very end, we'll also talk about an opportunity that you guys can have to work with us too if you think that that's a fit. So I just want to make a quick announcement right here. I thought this was very, very cool. We had a member that recently signed up, Jackie Wells, if I'm saying the name right. She recently came on board with Webfire, I think about at an event that we spoke at in the UK. That was probably about 2 weeks ago, give or take a bit. And already right off the bat, took some action and sold a schema, which she made, again, using one of the Webfire tools and following the trainings and stuff that we have. And she thought she sold it too cheap, but she still sold it for 247 pounds. That's about, 300 to 350 bucks or so, of US for not really a ton of work there. So that's really awesome right off the bat. That's really, really awesome right there. But even cooler is if you read this right here, she says that she's going to do the, email communications, blog, and Facebook posts 4 times a week to start with. On top of that, and as they start to see results, they said that they do even more. So what's cool here, what you basically notice is she got her foot in the door and sold a service for basically the equivalent of, let's say, like 350 bucks or so. And then So not only made some easy money right there, but got her foot in the door to, make even more money by doing even more stuff like email, blog posts, Facebook posts, and all that. And a lot of stuff like the Facebook posts and all that, again, you could help automate with Webfire as well. So again, just kind of goes to show that if you get your foot in the door, you can sell a lot more than just the initial service. So this one sale could be worth a lot more to her over time. And that's really, really cool right there. And there's a few things I want to note about her sale there in case anyone missed it. So she was actually on last week's call when she mentioned this and posted it in the Facebook group. And I think these are really awesome traits that I know she'll get even better in time. And I've seen with a lot of members, I can kind of tell who tends to have more of a chance of doing better, and she has a lot of those traits. So I just want to mention a few things to point out on the sale. First, she took immediate action. She didn't wait. She didn't think, well, gee, I'm not sure if I can do this. I'm not sure, what price. I mean, there's a million questions that she could have asked herself to prevent herself from taking action, but instead she took action, and if anything goes wrong, you can always fix it after the fact. But if you never take action, you'll never get anywhere. She also landed a decent sale right off the bat. So by taking action, she landed a sale right off the bat right there by taking quick action. And even more importantly, she got her foot in the door to sell other services, as you saw her say as well. And that's huge. So not only did she just land a deal by selling the schema, she's now selling additional services to that same client right there. So that's just one client right there. And her client now is interested in hiring her for even more services, potentially worth way more to her and probably ongoing as well. So if she's doing like, Facebook posts and stuff like that and, blog posts and stuff, that's probably, I'm guessing, some kind of ongoing fee or for some set time right there. So that could be worth a lot more down the road as well. And again, more importantly, this is all just from one sale, okay? So it's not like all these separate sales came from multiple different clients. This is just from one initial sale from one client, and it goes to show how, hey, you can make the one sale and sell additional things to that same person right there once, they see you know what you're doing and all that. And again, they don't have to know that you're using tools to help you do all this. In fact, they don't even oftentimes care. They just want to see the results that you can do right there. So I just want to congratulate her on that and make a note. And hopefully you can see her as an example of what you guys can also do as well by, again, taking action. So again, congratulations to you, Jackie, and feel free to update us on how all that goes. And we always love to hear back from anyone that's doing stuff like that. So now, moving on, what can you sell for premium prices? Well, you can sell a lot of different things for premium prices, but for the sake of this call, I'm going to focus mostly on web services. Now, you can apply this to almost any kind of a service out there. It doesn't have to be a web service, but just for the sake of this call, I'm going to focus mostly on that right here. But I mean, if you were like, let's say, a basketball coach of some kind, you could have training or a service where you train a person on how to increase their vertical jump. Doesn't mean you have to be there in person. You could have it be all online training. That's just fine. If you were, let's say a guy that, does like, personal development or life coaching or anything like that, you could have a service where, again, you train them on how to be a better person or how to get over certain hurdles or anything like that. So again, it doesn't have to be related to a web service, but just for the sake of this, I'm going to focus on that just to keep the theme similar and make it easy to understand. And also the fact that all of you have access to Webfire where, again, there's tons of services and stuff that you can sell within there. So you all could do all this right now. So here's a list of the services that you can sell just using Webfire right now. These are huge, huge markets. First one, SEO. Second one, schemas, which it's not as known as like SEO, but a schema is something that, the second you tell a guy, hey, this is what a site looks without a schema, this is what a site looks with one, the second they see that that's a major difference, they're like, whoa, I need a schema and I need it now. So that's, I think, one of the easiest things to actually sell quickly is that. and it's a great thing to get your foot in the door too. Lead services is another one. PR is also a huge one because there's guys that normally pay tens of thousands of dollars for basic PR stuff that you can do in a matter of minutes using the tools inside of Webfire. Social media management is a huge one. That's an ongoing monthly fee that you can make a fortune off of, where one client might have a huge need for that right there. Content creation and distribution services are another one. And on that note too, I want to make a quick note that you certainly can use tools inside of Webfire to kind of do the work yourself and make it very, very easy. I know a lot of people that do just that because, again, especially when you have tools that help basically automate the vast majority of the work, it doesn't make the work all that hard, and that's perfectly fine. But if you would rather outsource, that's perfectly fine too. You can hire guys to do the outsource work, whether they have their own service that you just charge more for, or whether you have a guy trained in the tools or anything like that. That's all fine too. And a few key things to keep in mind is, the more you charge, the more it's worth your time to get involved. So if you're charging premium prices, it's not that bad to spend, a chunk of your own time doing a service if you're making a fortune off of that. Whereas if you're making only $5 or $10 or $20 or even 50 or 100, it kind of sucks to get a lot of your time wasted on that right there, especially if you're looking to grow. So the takeaway from that is premium prices, obviously make it more worth your time. But on the same note, you can still outsource premium services as well, at the same time there, and be even more free. So one of the big things here with selling any kind of service is, how to increase the value of anything that you sell. And you can apply this outside of services, but especially when it comes to a service, this is super important because most people underprice themselves. Most also target the wrong kind of prospects. They target guys that don't have either the money, or they target guys that the service that you provide isn't of value to them, or I should say isn't of as much value to them. For instance, if you, let's say, are a mechanic, okay, and you fix boats, okay, if there's a leak on a boat, there's a major difference between a leak on a tiny rowboat and a leak on a giant cruise ship, okay? Both might be the exact same issue, but the cruise ship literally might lose millions of dollars if that leak isn't fixed. The rowboat, they might be inconvenienced for, a while, but they truly don't care if they go an hour late or a day late or even a week late. But the cruise ship would be inconvenienced if they're even minutes late. So that's why the value to the cruise ship owners would be worth way, 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 way more than the rowboat owners. The rowboat owners might say, man, if I have to spend $50 to fix that leak, that really sucks. I don't want to spend $50 for, something that doesn't take a guy too much time to fix. Whereas the cruise ship guys might be like, man, this is worth, 50 grand to us to fix right now, because otherwise we're losing millions of dollars, even if it's the exact same fix. Now, obviously, the kind of fix might be a little different, but you get the point of what I'm saying right there. So target guys who, your service is of a lot more value to. Also, a lot of people don't really understand the relationship between value and price versus just the amount of work and the price that you charge. I'll explain this, right now too, because I think the major difference is a lot of people don't have an entrepreneur's mindset. They have an employee's mindset, which is bad if you're looking to make money. And the difference is a lot of guys wrongly think that they can only charge based upon how much time they spend on a project. So a lot of guys think, well, gee, if it takes me an hour to fix, I can't possibly charge more than 25 or 50 bucks without feeling bad, because I know they won't buy because, they'll see it only takes me an hour, therefore I can only charge, 50. And the problem with that is you can never scale with a mindset like that. And having said that, you're basically saying that your own time isn't worth as much as it could be, because you're basically mistaking the amount of time it takes for what you can charge, okay? Whereas you should be thinking of, what or how much value can you bring, not how much time does it take, how much value can you bring to the other person, and what is it worth to them. If let's say you're in the dead of winter and your heater broke down, and or your furnace, I should say, and your house is freezing cold, and pipes might burst any minute, and that might cost $10,000 in damage, if not more. Would you rather pay $500 to a pro who can fix that in 5 minutes, or would you rather pay let's say $100 to a guy that spends like a half a day on it? So in one case, you're spending a lot less, but the guy takes like a half a day. In the other case, you're spending a lot more, but the guy can fix it in 5 minutes. Well, the majority of people, hands down, would say, well, man, I'd rather pay more to have the guy that can fix it right now and possibly save me over 10 grand of damage. But when it comes to selling, a lot of you seem to have the other mindset of, man, I can only charge based upon the hours that I work. So you want to kind of nip that in the butt right now, and have the mindset of, charge based upon the value that you bring the other people or the prospects. So with that, we can move on to how to charge 10 to 100 times more than your competitors with a fraction of the traffic that they would need. So a lot of people seem to think that the way to compete is oftentimes to offer a cheaper price than your competitors. That couldn't be further from the truth. Okay? In fact, it only sets you up to basically fail. If you see a guy selling a book at like $50 and you think that you can sell more at half that price, and then you see a guy that sells it for 10 and you think that, hey, if I charge 5, I'll make more. That rarely, if ever, actually works out, especially in the digital world, and you're just setting yourself up to fail there. So why do Pepsi, Nike, Rolex, Gucci, and all those sell virtually the same thing as their cheaper competitors, but they're racking the dough? So if you go to a grocery store now and you see a Pepsi next to 2 or 3 off-brand colas, what is the difference in taste between those? Oftentimes, not really much. They both kind of taste alike. They both look alike. They're virtually the exact same thing, but one might sell for twice the price, in some cases even 3 times the price as the other one, and are worth hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, compared to the off-brand ones, which aren't really worth all that much. Logically doesn't make a ton of sense. Or with like watches, the difference between a $25 watch and a $5,000 watch or a $25,000 watch oftentimes isn't all that much. Both of them do what? They tell time, right? Both can look nice. Even if you argue that, hey, one might be made with slightly higher quality parts, I guarantee it's not 25 grand of higher quality parts. You're buying based upon the perceived value of what that is right there. Or purses, the same thing. You can buy a purse for $20, and that same purse, or a purse that looks almost identical, might sell for $2,000. And women tend not to go crazy over the $20 purse, even if it looks almost identical to the $2,000 one, because it comes all down to about the perceived value and the positioning of that right there. And luckily for you, online marketing is no different, and in many cases, even easier. The key is all about the perceived value that you're giving to your prospects. So it's even easier here, because I'll show you a trick where the perceived value will be far, far easier than trying to convince a guy that your purse is worth $2,000 instead of $20. In fact, it's far, far easier to do that online, because you can actually legitimately give them more value at the same time, not just perceived value, but more value, and I'll show you how. So how to charge more. Again, it's not about how long your ebook is, how great your videos are, or how great your service is, and so forth. It's about the value that the prospects think that they get out of it. How-to guides have a much lower perceived value, usually like $5 to $50 or so. Done-for-you services have a much higher perceived value, usually $100 to thousands of dollars, in some cases even per month. However, there's a little trick where you can increase the price of any service or product that you sell. Ebooks can jump from $7 to $100 to $300 or more. Services can jump from $100 to $300 to $2,000 or more, in some cases even per month. So what is this little trick? The answer is providing more value, perceived and real, to everything and making everything more hands-free. When you provide more real and perceived value, especially more hands-free, for your customers, your prospects are willing to pay a lot more. So how can you increase the value and profits? I'm going to do an example here showing just that, of how we can slowly but surely increase the value of basically an article. So the reason why I pick an article here, and we can do some other examples, but the reason why I do an article is because it's very easy to understand. You all know what it is. You can write an article yourself, or you can hire an outsourcer to write one. And there's a lot of people that basically offer article writing online. Now, so if we take the basic service, which is just an article writing service that writes a simple article, the competition is really high. If you were to do a Google search, there's a ton of writers available. The cost is fairly low. I mean, in a lot of cases, you can get an article. You can buy one, for like $5 to $10 easily. In some cases, even a few bucks. If you outsource it, you can outsource it for a few bucks to like $5 or so tops. So it's a fairly low cost, both to outsource and both to buy. It's a low profit. Like if you outsource for $3 and you charge $5, you only make $2 profit. But it's a minimal amount of work. Like to write an article might only take you a half hour or less, or to outsource it, not really a ton of work there, but also not really a ton of profit at the same time. But you can step that up a notch and do article writing plus SEO. And with that, I call this like a basic plus package. This is where you do article writing, but you optimize it for a keyword that your client is trying to basically target. Now, what is the difference between an optimized article and a normal one? Virtually nothing. I mean, in a lot of cases, if someone's saying, can you write an article on X topic or keyword, you're going to use the keyword or topic anyway. But just by having it somewhere in the title, it can optimize that for them. And just by using the keyword once or twice throughout the body, you're basically optimizing the article for them. Now, the cool part here is that the competition is only medium to low, because there's a lot less people that will basically offer an optimized article writing service compared to a normal one. The cost is still the exact same cost, so still very low cost to actually like outsource or to write yourself. In both cases, you can probably get an outsourcer written in the exact same amount of time, but the profit can be okay instead of low. So instead of charging $5 to make two, on the basic, you could charge maybe $10 or $15, and make, $7 to $12 profit here. And there's still a minimal amount of work. I mean, it's the exact same amount of work, but you don't want to stop there. You could offer a premium package or service, and this could be where you do article writing plus SEO plus submission. So not only are you optimizing the article by including the keywords and such in it, but you can submit it to either an article site or to a blog or to a content network or anything like that. In fact, we have a content submission tool inside of Webfire that you could use to do just that. Now, the competition here isn't that much at all. There's a lot less that will write an article, optimize it, and submit it for you. The cost is still low. I mean, to outsource it, virtually probably the exact same fee. I mean, if you want to be generous, you could offer like an extra $1, but to really submit an article, especially through Webfire, you're basically talking like an extra, minute of work, if that. So let's be generous and say it costs an extra $1 of, an outsourcer worker's time or your own time right there. But there's a lot more profit here. Instead of charging $5 at the first one or like 10 to 15 at the second one, you could charge, easily probably upwards of 25 for the premium. So your profit goes from $2 to basically $22. So, you're talking over 10 times the profit by not really changing anything. It's still almost the exact same minimal amount of work. We're basically talking an extra minute between the premium and the basic, if that. Okay, but we just 10 times our profit with a minute extra of work. But you don't want to stop there. You want to do what I call an elite service. An example of this with article writing could be article writing plus SEO plus submission plus you create a blog or a site for them in this case. Now you could have several different kinds of elite services. This is just one that I came up with right here. So in this case, not only do you write an article for them, not only do you optimize it for them, not only do you submit it for them, but on top of that, you also create a blog or site for them and put the content on that as well. Now, you can make a blogger.com blog, blogger.com, in a matter of a couple minutes. Okay, you could probably make a WordPress site, if you know how, in like 5 minutes. But even if you're brand new, you can make a blogger blog in a couple minutes easily, and you just paste in basically the article and such. Now, what's cool here is that there's extremely little competition. Very few people are willing to go the entire way and do all the work right here. The cost is still low because, to make the extra blog or site might be maybe a couple minutes more. So if you want to pay like an extra $1 or so, that would be your cost. Now, if you want to be generous, you could throw in an extra $5 or so, and you're paying a lot more for not really a ton of time more. But I'll show you in just a bit. There's still a ton of profit there. You could even be like super generous and say, hey, instead of just a one-page site or one article, maybe you make a 5-page site, so you have 5 articles on it. So let's say your cost is only, let's say, $3 to $5 an article for 5 articles. You're talking 15 to to $25 there. The time to make the site, say you throw in $5 right there, and let's say that you want to go and be super nice, okay? And let's say you want to include like a custom header graphic and stuff like that. Well, you can get that done on Fiverr, Fiverr.com, for $5. So your total cost on the high end for like a 5-page site with 5 articles, so it's 5 times the amount of articles as all those other ones, your maximum cost is somewhere in the ballpark of $25 to $35. That's on the max end. Still a low cost, but your profit is huge because instead of charging $5, you could charge hundreds of dollars for the same thing right here. So you could, if you saw this deal for, let's say, $300, you would think that person's crazy, almost too good to be true, to get a whole 5-page site for $300. That, I'd say, would almost be too cheap right there. But at a cost of, let's say, $30, you're making $270 profit for almost the exact same amount of work. Realistically, you'd want to sell this for, I'd say, a minimum of $500 to $1,000, and people would still think you're a steal of a deal. And in that case, that's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars pure profit. In fact, if you sold it at like $500 compared to $5, you're selling it 100 times the price of the first one, 100 times, for not that much more work, not that much more cost, but the perceived value is huge. At $500, they might think, again, you're still crazy of offering that cheap of, a service for that, but you're making it as hands-free as possible. Your clients will love you because they're like, man, I got a complete website made with 5 pages of content and everything submitted and optimized and yada yada, custom graphics and all that for $500. You'll be their best friend. They'll think that you did them an awesome deal right there, where it's almost too good to be true. Whereas you're making bank because, again, people are far more likely to buy from you than buy the cheaper stuff where they have to do a lot of work themselves still and such. So keep that in mind. The more elite that you basically make it, the more people will want the service that you're basically offering. So with a few simple tweaks, you can go from $5 to hundreds of dollars or even thousands very easily. So I know we used the article writing example here, but let's brainstorm maybe one or two other ideas. So if you're on the call now, just maybe type in like a product or a niche or something that you're in right now, and I'll pick maybe one or two to do some brief examples off of, so I'll see what people are saying. All right, we have digital marketing services, we have weight loss, we have ink, we have cooking, online stores, spiritual development, another one with web services, nursing, healthy coffee, attorneys, personal development, local marketing, video marketing, bodybuilding. All right. So let's do, and again, you can apply this to like almost anything. So I'll do two. The first one I'll do right here. I see there's a lot of you that want something related to like SEO or traffic or local marketing, and you can kind of group that all in one almost here. So I'll do that one to start with, and then we'll do one more. So let's say that you're trying to sell some kind of SEO. What a lot of people do is they'll basically sell like an SEO course, and they'll sell it for maybe like $27 or so, and they'll contact all these guys out there saying, hey, I'll sell you SEO for X amount right here, or I'll sell you an ebook on it for X amount. And none of those guys really want to buy a book on how to do SEO. Okay, maybe you might get like a couple, but most of them don't want that. They just want the work done. So if you have the basic package where you write the book, no one really cares much about that. Now, you could up that a bit and possibly turn it into like a video package where, you basically teach them, hey, these are the 3 things that you need to do to almost guarantee page 1 rankings. If you have it like step by step in a video, that might be like a basic plus where the perceived value is a bit more. So instead of charging like 27, maybe you could charge like 100. But you don't want to stop there. You could increase that to like a premium service, and a premium service might be where you do the SEO work for them, each month. And in that case, you might charge, up to $1,000 a month or so to do the basic SEO work for them that even Webfire itself can do, because it's hands-free. All they have to do is give you access, and you have at it. And that's $1,000 a month right there, and that's just a premium. Now, for an elite one, again, you want to offer either a premium or an elite service. For an elite one, instead of just doing the SEO work, you could even maybe pre-rank some sites or pre-rank some videos and such, where you would go out there and get like a site ranked or like a video ranked, and then contact those places and say, hey, I see you're a dentist in Atlanta or in London or some place like that. I have a site or a video here that's ranked for this term right there. If you'd like to have it and have a link to your site, it'll cost you X amount. So in that case, everything's done. You're already ranked. That's an elite service that you could charge a lot more for, and guys would jump on that because they know that from day one they could get results off that. So that's an example right there. Another way that you can tweak that too, to basically offer like a premium or an elite service and this is a technique that at the same time can help to sell too. If you want to sell, like, let's say an SEO service, instead of selling a generic SEO service, target a specific kind of business like dentists, okay? And then go around saying that you have a dentist SEO service. And then you can make like a video where you show like page one of Google, and you basically say, hey, this is why a handful of these places rank and why some don't. Like these places right here don't rank because they don't have the keywords in a title tag, they don't have this, or that, and you can use a WebFire site analysis tool, and it basically tells you all the stuff wrong, right there. And you can be very blunt and say, hey, if you guys want to fix this, you have to make sure to fix all this crap right here. And most of those guys say, okay, great, he clearly knows what he's talking about because he's telling us our problems and what we have to do to basically fix it, but none of them really know how to fix it, or none of them really want to take the time to fix it, which is why you could charge more. Now, as far as a service like weight loss goes, again, almost the exact same concept. Like instead of selling a weight loss ebook, or instead of selling like a video course, which might be like a basic plus, you could offer a premium or elite service where you basically say, hey, I find that a lot of my clients, they're each entirely different. They each oftentimes need like unique one-on-one help. So like you make a deal where it's like, hey, like let's say you have a 6-week course, okay, and you say, hey, I find that oftentimes people want to watch the training and stuff on their own time, on their own will and all that. So rather than having a one-on-one call, we do group calls, and rather than forcing you to be on at a certain time, you can watch the recordings or the replays at any point in time. So each week you'll get access to one recording that will give you instructions on what to do that week, and on top of that, we'll also give you access to a personal trainer who will help you track your results and help give you advice along the way. So let's say on week 3 that you're not losing the weight fast enough, or you're not building muscle fast enough, or whatever it might be. They'll personally help you by reviewing your case and giving you some personal tips and stuff too. And where you make that even more premium or elite might be on top of that, you give like a guarantee. Say, hey, you're so confident that you guarantee that everyone who follows through your 6-week course here will lose a minimum of 10 pounds, or they get their money back, or they'll gain X amount of muscle, or some like guarantee like that. Now the cool part with that is you're not really increasing your workload, because it's not like you have to do one-on-one with every client. Basically, like they would get like the 4-week course or 6-week course or the 10-week course, which could just be recordings. But then after that, if they need help, then they can get basically in touch with you over email or phone or whatever you want right there. But a lot of them won't, so it still saves you a lot of time. And the ones that do, you can quickly and easily help, knowing that they already went through the trainings and all that right there. So you can offer much more done for you service that way as well. Another thing too is, okay, here's a good one. So I'll just say this because we're in this niche too. So Bill said here, what about survival preppers? There's an just off the top of my head, there's an awesome example right here. So again, most guys will sell like an ebook on how to survive stuff, and that's fine. But you also want to offer kind of elite services and stuff. So a basic offer might be a book on how to survive. A basic plus might be like a video course on it, or like a membership, or something along those lines. A premium might be, hey, here's a survival kit. So we'll basically sell you a bug out bag, where the bag itself you might charge $200 for, but it might have a raw cost of a fraction of that. So rather than them learning what to put in a bug out bag or what to put in a survival kit, you're selling them the entire done for you thing right there. Now on the extreme end, on like a elite service, rather than basically telling them how much food they should store, what they should buy, so on and so forth, you could sell like stockpiles of food and stockpiles of everything that they need. In fact, There's a handful of places that do just that, and they literally make sales in the tens of thousands of dollars off of one client. You might have a client that says, hey, I want to buy a year's worth of survival food, and I want all this other survival stuff, and they might spend 25 grand plus on one big order. And that's a elite service because it's all entirely done for them. They don't have to read up on what they need or what they should buy. They don't have to do all that work. They just get out a credit card or a bank transfer, probably in this case, and get that all shipped to them right there. So, and again, this works with almost anything that you could possibly think of. Again, don't overthink it too much. Don't think, hey, which one's the best one to go into first? I mean, if you're brand new and you give zero clue on what kind of service, I think SEO and schemas and stuff like that are super easy to start with. A schema, I think, is really easy because it really is this is what it basically is. This is the before, this is the after, and you can easily do just that. And it gets your foot in the door for a lot of other stuff right there. But another example, I see there's a person here that mentioned real estate, and this is an example that I've actually said in the past here. So I'll say it again here because I know a friend that was in the real estate investing niche, and a lot of people would sell an ebook for again $50 or less. A basic plus version might be a video course or something like that, but a premium might be, hey, possibly a tool that helps tell them if a deal is a good deal. It could be a software tool, or it could be a service where you basically tell them if it's a good deal or not. But an elite service, which you could charge a fortune for, I knew a gal that charged 25 grand, and all it basically was, you'd charge 25 grand, and she'd get a bunch of clients all at once, 20 or 30 clients. They'd all pay 25 grand. They would get on a bus with her in a certain town where it had good deals on homes, and she would do her homework on a ton of homes ahead of time, knowing that they were all good deals. She would have the brokers and loaners and all that right there. So you could set up a deal and buy a house on the spot, and knowing that all of them are good deals that she went over ahead of time, and that was super popular. In fact, I believe that every year that she's actually done that, she sold out. Because again, people were like, wow, this is amazing. This is the most hands-free. I just have to show up and I can say, hey, I want 5 homes or 10 homes, or hey, I want that one, and this one. And it was done right there. So that's an elite plus service right there. Or if you have let's say you deal with stocks or Forex or anything like that, rather than a guide or a course on how to buy or sell stocks or Forex or anything like that, you could have a service where you actually walk them through their first trade. So you do the trade with them. And on top of that, not only can you charge a premium price for that, you can also be an affiliate for the broker accounts and all that, and get paid hundreds of dollars up front when they sign up right there. So all good things right there. So there's a lot of you in a bunch of different niches, and that's great. But try to brainstorm, at least at some point today, how can I make this more elite or more, done for you? So what's cool is that marketing an elite package is much easier than a basic package because they're more excited about getting everything done for them. DFY or done for you sells best. And, you don't need to rely on, or they don't need to rely on guessing if your ebook is easy enough or good enough for them to follow, because again, you're doing the hard work for them right there. You're making it super easy and done for them at the same time. So that's why it can be a much easier sale at times too. So how much can you make? Well, what's great about targeting elite services is that it's much easier to make a lot of money faster. If you're selling stuff at like 5 or 10 bucks, a pop, you need to make a lot of sales to make it worthwhile. So if you get just one $1,000 a month client each month, it looked like this. At the end of month 1, you'd be making $1,000 a month. After 6 months, you'd be making $6,000 a month. After 1 year, you'd be making $12,000 a month. After 2 years, you'd be making $24,000 a month. And that's just getting one new client a month. Okay, just one client a month. That's not like being aggressive. That's not being proactive. That's just trying to get one client. Your goal the entire month would be just to get one client. That's, again, super laid back and not nearly as difficult as you think, especially if you go about this right. So if you decided to up your game and get one new $1,000 client, per month, each week, it'd look like this. After 1 month, you'd have about $4,000 per month. After 6 months, you'd be making about $26,000 a month. And after 1 year, you'd be making $52,000 a month. And that's just, again, trying to get one new $1,000 per month client each week. Okay? So again, it's not nearly as difficult as you think. Now, granted, of course, some clients might leave, so it's not like once you get a client, they'll necessarily stay for life. Some might stay a super long time, some might not, but at the same time, you'll also be able to upsell other clients into a lot more stuff too, so it can oftentimes even out, if not more. So like, let's say one client stays for years and years and years, and another client leaves after like 2 or 3 months, that's fine, because there's a handful of clients that sign up for your $1,000 a month and then say, hey, I want more stuff. I want you to also do this, this, and this, or I want you to do this for like, my other businesses and stuff. So that $1,000 a month client might turn into like a $5,000 a month client. And it, happens more often than you might think too. And again, this is just focused on just one service instead of, several services that you could be selling, including stuff that you could sell at higher priced, offers or higher end package prices as well. So this is just if you're selling just one service and that's it right there, which oftentimes is not the case as you want to sell more and more. Now, the hidden and very valuable benefit of all this is when you're providing, products and services to these kinds of businesses, they always have more money to spend when they are getting results from their marketing activities. For example, let's say Mary's company hires you to create a schema for their website, something that anyone on this call can easily do within a half hour or less. If you're really good, you can do it in 10 minutes. So you charge, let's say about $1,000 for something that you can do in under a half hour with Webfire, or within 10 minutes if you're really good. That's almost $1,000 in easy profits, but that's just the beginning. Because your team delivers great results, her website rankings shoot up, she gets more calls and sales, and you're a rock star in Mary's eyes. You contact Mary to share the good news of the measurable results that you achieved. Now note, a few things here. For something like a schema, they can see almost immediate results off that. You can show, hey, this is what you looked like before, this is what you look like now. And they'll think, holy cow, you did exactly what you said. They'll feel very, very good. And you get to take credit for all that, even if the work itself was super easy, or even if you outsource that. Mary would then realize that, again, she's getting more traffic, leads, and sales because of what you've done for her business. Since you've delivered results, Mary will be excited to hire you for continued SEO services, PR stuff, lead services, social media management, like all that stuff right there. She's like, hey, I could use it for this, and this, because she saw that you got results for her and that you did exactly what you said. She now has confidence that you can do even more. And of course, there's a lot more money in all that right there. So instead of getting paid maybe $1,000 for a schema, you might land, $1,000 a month deal to do a handful of other things for her, or even a $2,000 or $3,000 a month deal or more to handle several things that, again, wouldn't be all that hard to actually do right there. And it's all started by getting your foot in the door with that first initial sale. So once you have your foot in the door at any business out there, you have the opportunity to sell them everything that you have available, which means, of course, that you should have a full range of products and services to basically cover all of their online marketing needs. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to have like a bunch of offers from day one. It just means that over time, you can add more and more, services and stuff that you can sell of your own. Like if you sell, like, let's say, a schema service, the natural step might be later to sell, let's say, an SEO service or a social media management service, and you can continuously add more services and products to your lineup, and build more and more and more income off of even the exact same group of clients that you had initially. So do you see how these businesses are already spending this type of money for the online marketing products and services they absolutely must have? So good. I thought so there. So naturally, a lot of you might say, okay, well, that's great, but how do, so, you kind of know how to do those kinds of services because, again, Webfire can help do all those. But naturally, some of you are probably asking, how can you sell these products and services? Well, you can find lots of ways to sell all this, but here's just a few. One is through webinars. Now, what's really great here is that they don't even have to be live. You can do like a video recording, call it a webinar, throw it up on a page and just say, hey, this is a webinar replay, or this is a replay from a call that I recently did. And we found that, conversion rates on replays, oftentimes can be almost the same as live, or at least not too far off. So you don't have to spend the time in actually doing a live call if you don't want. But what's cool is that a webinar replay works far better than a video. Now, here's why I think that is. With a video, if you send a guy to a video sales page, they expect that the video is super high quality. They expect there won't be any mistakes on it. They expect that it will be absolutely perfect, and they'll judge you on that. Whereas on a webinar, they know that, at least in their heads, they think that at some point it was probably live. Stuff goes wrong live. You could fumble or do anything you want, and they're like, oh, that's perfectly normal because it's live, or it was live. It's a webinar. That's all fine. And they won't even judge you or think any less of you on that. In fact, a lot of times they can almost build like a bonding with you almost, because like, oh, it's kind of funny. This is a real actual person on the other line. It's not just a guy hired to make like a video. So it can work really well. And what's cool there is that it's much easier to sell high-end services and products on a webinar versus just on a standard sales page. So you'll find it's much easier to do it that way as well. Another way is you can make what I call how-to content, where you then offer the service at the end. So you could have like a blog post or a video on basically what the benefits of a schema are and why they need one. But then at the end, you can basically offer to make one for them, if they so choose. So they find the content initially when they're like, hey, what's the schema? I heard about this. And then they're like, man, this is useful content. Tells me what this all is, why it's useful, and boom, they have a service to help do this for me. You can also market it off of social media, like on Facebook and stuff. And here is a killer method that a lot of high-end services and coaches and stuff do. They post the results from clients and then market those posts to their target audience and watch the results come in. Even if you don't have results now, you can use basically other examples where you can get easy results from. Like if you, like let's say you never made a schema before. Okay, or let's say that you have, or let's say that you're selling like an SEO service for dentists, but you haven't sold your first client yet. What you could do, in the dentist case, you can make like a video where it's basically like you going through Google for a term like, dentist, Atlanta, Georgia, or dentist, London, UK, or some term like that, and you would essentially say, hey, this is why this site ranks, this is why this site does not rank. So, this dentist ranks for this term right here because he has the keywords in his title tag, he uses it on a site, whereas this guy doesn't even mention it, in his title, and blah, blah, blah. So you're basically saying, hey, this is why this guy ranks, this is why this guy does not. You're providing useful value, and it's basically social proof, like, hey, this guy knows, what he's talking about. And when you post that up, if you target, let's say, dentists then, and they happen across that post, they're like, wow, this guy clearly knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. I don't know what to do myself, so I might want to hire this guy to do just that. So it's a great way to reach out to your prospects that way as well. You can also find leads already asking for such services and emailing them. So you can find guys out there online oftentimes saying, hey, I need help with this, or hey, what's a good way to get ranked better, or anything like that. You can even use, again, tools inside of Webfire to help find those leads. You can also, in that same note, find leads who need your services but haven't necessarily asked yet, and you can email them. Like we have our business lead tool, Lead Power Machine, can help find local businesses anywhere in the world. And you can use that to say, hey, these guys don't appear to be ranked well, they don't appear to have social media, so they could be of massive benefit, to you, or you would be of massive benefit to them if you could help get them ranked or help do that work for them right there. Now, again, as another hint here, several tools inside of Webfire not only can help you do all those services and such, but they can help find you possible prospects asking questions and stuff on it too. So again, when you have an elite premium offer, you stand out, and these prospects, again, want exactly what you have at that point. So to get going on this right here, here's a few things that I want you guys to do in the next few days' time. First, brainstorm a couple elite services that you could be offering. Think of how you can make them more done for you and offer more of what the prospects ultimately want, which is more hands-free results. Then come up with a price that makes you happy, and then probably charge 2 to 5 times the price that you think makes you happy. Because oftentimes I find that people tend to basically underprice themselves. So even if they come up with like a number that they think they feel happy with, my rule of thumb is charge 2 to 5 times more than what you think you'll be happy with, and that way you'll be even more happy and it will be even more worthwhile. And realistically, that tends to be what you could probably sell for. Then seek out those that you can help and start making offers. So it's as easy as that. I mean, don't think, well, I don't know exactly what to say, or I don't know exactly what to do. The best way is to just take action right now and learn from the mistakes that you make, right there, rather than doing nothing and second guessing yourself along the way. Now, there's some tricks that you can do to making an offer. For instance, if your goal is to sell like $1,000 a month SEO service, you could start by selling a schema like Jackie did for less money, and it's an easier sell. You're like, hey, here's a before and after on this site. I can do that for you, and then you basically do that work for them. They see that you've basically done exactly what they said, and after the work's done, they think that you're basically a genius. They think that you're really awesome. They love you, and then they're like, man, if he helped us with this, certainly he can probably help us with our Facebook posts, or with our SEO, or with all this other crap that they might not know anything about, but they know that they need to get done. So it can get your foot in the door, right there, and you can sell them more. Another trick that you can do as well is you can offer something for free, and this could be like a free website, like analysis, which again, Webfire can do a custom analysis report for anyone that you want. You can give it to them for free. They appreciate the fact that that's free, and then it kind of gets your foot in the door as well right there. I mean, if you want to go on the extreme end, you could technically even offer a schema for free, and like almost everyone take you up on that offer. Now, I don't think you have to go that far, but you would get the attention of any business out there in the world by doing that for free. And you could even say, like, for instance, in this case, hey, I'm selling an SEO service for, let's say, $1,000 a month, and as part of that, in the first month, we'll make you a schema for free. Here's the difference of a site without one and a site with one. And they'll see it and they'll think, wow, holy crap, that's really awesome. That alone is worth more than, your $1,000 a month price. So that's another way that you can do just that. And again, you could shoot like let's say, again, you're trying to target dentists. You can shoot a video, giving tips to all the dentists in Madison or Atlanta or London or wherever you might be, and then move on to the next place. And then you can do the same thing with chiropractors or lawyers or almost any kind of business that you want. And again, you're giving useful info out or something of value that grabs their attention, that makes you stand apart from the guy that's basically just saying, I sell SEO, buy from me. So if you need some extra help with this, again, all of you now have a way to start selling high-end services. You have Webfire, you have access to a lot of tools to do a lot of stuff, and hopefully you got some value out of this call right here. However, we know that some of you want to jumpstart this and get personal one-on-one help with us. So we put we put something special together for those who are very serious about going to the next level fast. So some quick warnings right here. This is not a good fit for you if you don't expect to do any work, okay? This is one where there will be some work involved. There's awesome results from it, but you do have to put in work. If you're not an action taker, probably just stop now. If you don't want to take advantage of our years of knowledge and resources, or if you're like, the worst ones are guys that have never done anything like this, but they'll basically argue with you along the entire way, even if you have tons and tons of experience. I've seen guys like that. Those guys aren't fun to work with, and they'll always be kind of stuck where they are now. So, if you're any of those, it's probably not the best of fits for you. But what does this offer exactly? Well, we put together a deal here. So in the past, we actually had a $25,000 package where we personally help people create and market their own high-end web service. Now, I know a lot of you are probably saying, wow, isn't that like a ton of dough for, just helping to put a service together? Well, yes, it's a lot. We're not, acting like it's not. But having said that too, if you were to go to a random guy on the street and say, hey, if someone basically gave you a business that you could make, $100,000 per year, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, with a lot less work than most people do, their normal jobs, do you think that'd be a fair thing to trade $25,000 for? And of course, probably almost everyone would say, oh, hands down, yes, that makes a ton of sense. So in thinking of it like that, it was a pretty sweet deal, and it is a way where it allowed people to build a business of their own for these high-end services and such. But at the same time, it made it worth our while to obviously help them more and make sure that they succeeded and all that right there. So with that, we actually put them through a 6-week course plus lots of one-on-one time after the course was complete to fine-tune their offers and start marketing them. So that they go through a 6-week course where each week there'd be a new course with homework and all that right there, and then they'd have some one-on-one time after where if they got stuck or needed help or needed to tweak an offer, we'd be there for them right there. And of course, for the right people, that was an awesome deal, whether they were fairly new and just looking to market a new service, or whether they were having an existing business and want to add additional services to sell high-end stuff of their own. And by high-end, I typically mean anything that's like, $1,000 a month or more, but high-end can also mean like, $5,000 or $10,000 or even $25,000 up front too. So it depends, upon the offer in the market and all that, but all those are considered high-end. Anything less than like $1,000 a month isn't necessarily bad. It's just our goal is to get you a service or essentially an offer that you can charge $1,000 a month or more for. But having said that, we also realized that the 25 grand was really out of reach for most people, even if they were already successful at what they were doing. Even if there was a ton of value in that, we know that was a big chunk of change right there. And we also realized at the same time that most people want to get going ASAP instead of going through a 6-week course. That way they get the quickest return possible. We had a 6-week course in the end because our thought was hey, we really want guys to do one step at a time. We don't want guys to jump ahead to week 4 or 5 and skip the basics. But at the same time, we realize that there's a handful of guys that want everything up front and can get through everything in like a day or two, and that's fine if they can right there. So we came up with a hybrid plan that we think will be the best of both worlds. So you can get access to the 6-week course entirely from day 1. So you can go through the entire thing and do the homework in under a day if you're really ambitious. I would still recommend that you spread that out maybe over at least a few days. If you have a free weekend or anything, at least spread it out then. But because it was originally designed to be a 6-week course where each week if you had a few hours free, that was usually enough for all that work right there. But definitely if you want to whip through it all in like a day or two, you can. After that, Sean and I will both be available to help you tweak your offer and your marketing to get you the best results possible to make you the fastest money possible at the same time. So we spend a lot of time helping each person here, and you'll get personal access to us. So when you write us, it will be us. It won't be a helper or support. You'll get personal access to us at any time right there. So if you write us an email, we'll always respond to you really fast there. But it also saves us a little time compared to the last time we sold this, as you'll get access to a 6-week course on day 1 without having to wait the whole 6 weeks. So that saves us a lot of time as well there. So it's kind of like a win-win on both sides there. But in either case, you'll be walking away with your own offer, social proof, a webinar pitch, a webinar replay, marketing materials and plan, and resources to make the quickest money possible. So that's what you'll be walking away with this right here. So here's the 2 sides and the catch, as you might say. So there's 2 sides to an offer like this. First, from our side or our point of view, our personal time is very valuable, and we know that we can bring what we can bring to the table to get you fast results. We've helped a lot of people in the past, and we know who we can help, and we know that we can help a lot of people. But from your side, you also want fast results and reassurance that you can get all that. So obviously it goes both ways. It's a two-lane road right here, and we realize that. So here's the deal that we're basically doing right here. So we're dropping the initiation fee from 25 grand up front, which it used to be, to either $9,997 up front or 4 installments of $3,000 a month for 4 months. But on top of that, we'll actually give you a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can get the entire 6-week course ahead of time from day 1. So you can take action on it from day 1. You don't have to wait 6 weeks. Again, you can go through the entire thing in a few days' time if you want, do all the homework right then. And you can start getting help from us right then too. Anytime you get stuck, anytime you want to tweak or look at like a pitch you have or a plan you have for a service, we can look at that, so we can give you fast results so you know that you get your investment back, and that is a safe investment. And oftentimes, we've seen offers, and then there's numerous guys like this too, where they'll make an offer or have an offer that is one that I would call maybe like a basic plus, maybe close to like a premium, but with a few easy tweaks that we can spot, it can be easily turned into an elite offer, which the price might go from $100 to $1,000 or $2,000 for the exact same service. In some cases, even per month. In some cases, there's even upfront fees that you could charge upwards of 5, 10, or 25 grand upfront for some high-end services as well. And we actually cover all those as well right there. So what do you get? So our high-end training to create your own high-end offers is a 6-week course, but you'll get access to the entire thing from day one. This is sold for, again, 25 grand before, and it covers how to create the services yourself or outsource dirt cheap, how to get social proof in minutes. This is very important, and you can get that literally in minutes. How to create a high-end offer with, again, tons of examples of different high-end offers that you could sell. How to create a webinar or video presentation easily, and we'll give you the templates. You can literally copy one by one right there. Just fill in the blank and tweak. You'll also see some existing ones that we have, so you'll get tons of examples there. Where and how to find prospects and sell them, even with templates and what to email them, write, and say, and more. And you'll also get personal one-on-one access to Sean and I after you're through the course for any help or suggestions you need. So this could be like fine-tuning a presentation, tweaking an offer, advice on how to market or find prospects, or even joint venture opportunities. Obviously, if you have a decent service that we think would be of value, we would welcome the opportunity to do a JV if it mutually made sense there. Now, normally we'd be about $2,000 an hour each just to consult, but again, we're including this for free for as much as you need right there. So again, huge value right there, and you're also guaranteed to walk away with your own high-end offers, even if you have nothing to start with now, plus all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee as well, which would be priceless. So again, you get access to the entire training, and if you think for whatever reason it's not worth every penny or every cent of that, you can get 100% of your investment back. It's a 30-day guarantee right there, and you get access to everything from day one, and on top of that, you get access to us too, making this really kind of like a no-brainer type deal here. So again, you'll be walking away with your own $1,000 plus per month offer or offers, because again, you can make several of these that you can turn into a 6-figure a year business or more. You'll have everything needed to start promoting, including a marketing action plan. So you'll see all the free ways and all the paid ways that you can get results off of this right here. And again, you'll have us to personally help you with that too. You'll also have personal access to us if you need help on how to up your game even more. And literally, this is worth well over 100 grand just in the first year alone for the right people here. Now, we know this deal isn't for everyone, and we also want to use our time and resources on ones that we know we can help who are the right fit. So not everyone will be a right fit here. That's why you can't buy right now. So even if you want to buy it right now, I see there's a couple of guys saying sweet deal, especially with the guarantee and all that. You cannot buy right now. You need to actually apply, and here's how that will work. So if there's any interest at all, you can apply by doing the following. Go to this link right here, which Sharon or Sean will post in the chat. It's myownsurvey.com/Koz, K-O-Z, /apply. So again, go to that link right there, and you'll basically answer a handful of questions. Won't take you more than a handful of minutes or so. And we'll get back to you within about 24 hours or so, either with follow-up questions or our answer, if you're fit or not. So we'll leave this up for a short while right here. So again, it's not like if you come back like a week later, that will probably pass the time. But so make sure to jump on that right now. Again, myownsurvey.com/Koz/apply. So again, myownsurvey.com/KOZ/apply. And we'll see if we're a good fit or not. Now, if you have any questions on either the offer or the training, again, feel free to ask now. And then in just a bit, we'll do the cash giveaway as well right there. So again, I'll have both the links up here right now. So if you want to partake in the giveaway for the cash, go to getwebfire.com/FB group and then leave a comment under the post or on the post that Sharon has asking what you thought of the training, where again, we talked all about how to sell high-end premium price services and such like that. And in a bit, we'll pick a random winner for $100. And then also to apply for this right here, again, there's no way to pay right now because we want to make sure that we only accept guys that are the right fit. If we don't think you're a right fit, we don't want to take your money because, again, it's also backed by a 1-month money-back guarantee. So if we think there's a person that we can't get the results for, we obviously don't want to waste time on that or have you pay for that either. But again, the application link is myownsurvey.com/cause/apply. So with that, guys, if you have any questions on the training or the deal or anything like that, feel free to type those in now, and Sean and I will start to answer you. And Sean, if you've seen any questions that have basically popped up while I was talking, feel free to shout out those too. I know I saw a lot of guys asking some stuff prior in the middle of the talk too.
Yes, well, especially when you tell them to ask questions so I can work hard. They do that.
Exactly.
Talad asked, and I'm not sure if it's Talad, I'm probably saying it completely wrong, but and I apologize for that, but he or she asked how many hours of one-on-one time do they get with that offer?
So yeah, so with that, we're not like saying, hey, it's only X amount of hours or anything like that. It's more so like, hey, if you need help, just ask to shoot us an email, and we'll help you. So it's not like you only get 1 call or 2 call or 3 calls. It's like we'll give you access to our emails. So if you go through the training first, and again, you have to go through the trainings that we give you first, because we're not here to basically repeat the same thing over and over and over and over again. So you go through the trainings first. Then once you're through those, then if you're stuck on anything, you basically ask us, or if you have your offer made, which you will, by the end of the training, if you follow the homework and follow all that, you'll have your own offer ready to go right then and there, ready to market, even with the marketing plan and everything in place right then. But if you need us to take a look and maybe tweak the sales offer, or tweak the service or the webinar pitch, or tweak your marketing plan, or give you some better ways to get clients faster, that's what we're there to help you with. That makes it the most efficient both ways right there. Anything else that you saw, Sean, before we get to all the new questions that popped up?
People are asking about the link to the Facebook group. So this is the important thing. Sorry, that's bogging down the...
Right on the page that you should see right now. So at the top, getwebfire.com/FB group.
Yeah, should work. And then if you apply, we'll instantly approve you because you have to apply to join. And then you can post. And then you have a good chance to win money. I'm trying to go back up here and find anything that pertain to this or that you needed to answer that I didn't already get out of the 4 million things. Jessica says, I'm seriously so glad I found you guys. It was an invitation, priceless software. Jessica, you're welcome. I had to hear that. By the way, I just out of curiosity, how many people are from the UK and the time change screwed you all up? Yeah, the Facebook link is in the chat box underneath, but Sharon will post it again here, or I can probably post it again because you might not have been here then. Oh yeah, several of you got caught by that. So next week it'll go back to being like it normally would be at 7 o'clock, UK time, because we'll change the our time this weekend here in the U.S. and so. We'll actually get to -5 GMT. So for those of you in the rest of the world trying to work off GMT, not that the UK isn't the center of the world, but some of you might not think so, or the US for that matter. We shift this weekend, so next week it'll go back to the same time it was for you for the last 6 months. Okay, so then we're good there. Okay, good. There we go. All right.
Well, here's a great question right here. So a person asks, how can SEO be offered monthly? Is that not just a one-off job? You certainly can do some SEO as a one-time job, but there's also ongoing work to do more SEO. For instance, how many keywords do you think are in the weight loss niche? Guess. Do you think there's just 1, 5, 10, 100, 1,000, a million? If you think of all the keywords, probably in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions if you think of all the obscure terms. And do you honestly think that you can rank for millions of terms all off of one job, one time? The answer to that is obviously no. Otherwise, you'd see the same site ranking for everything in the world. So there's, there's definitely ongoing work to rank for new keywords, also to get like, extra traffic and stuff. There can be a lot of ongoing work. Now, granted, you can change up a site one time and do a lot of changes that can have drastic results, within that first month, which some guys might be perfectly happy with just doing 1 month's work. But a lot of times too, there's guys that are willing to pay ongoing fees to try to get help in ranking for, essentially additional keywords and such. Sorry about that.
Seriously, did we just hear like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Yeah, my daughter changed the phone ringing to that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that, I wasn't hearing things and it was just too incredible to ignore.
Yeah, I had the phone next to me turned off, but unfortunately she had one right on the couch that I didn't see. Yeah, she is obviously excited about Christmas ahead of time, as you can probably tell. But I'm not even sure how she changed the ringtone to that, but she did.
That's because she's 12. She knows things that we don't know.
Exactly. But yeah, so definitely back to the SEO. You can definitely do like a monthly fee for that right there. In fact, there's a lot of offers that do just that. Same with like any lead offers or social media management, all that right there. Okay. All right, so this is a great question right here. They said, how do you advertise your services before they get on a webinar, as they need to know that the webinar or that the replay or that the video exists? Obviously, they would need to know all that, and that's one of the things that we actually cover in the training. It's how to find prospects out there. But I mean, on a simpler note, you can even use some of the tools inside of Webfire to help locate prospects out there that you could easily help with. In fact, there's in the training alone that we'll cover on this course right here, there's probably, off the top of my head, at least like a dozen different ways that you can find these kinds of prospects. Some you can find within literally minutes. But I find that, a lot of people tend to really overthink that. Like if I said to you, if you could help dentists in your local area, how could you find dentists right now? If you really have to think more than like a second on that, you're overthinking. Because again, like you could go to every dentist that you find in Google in your local area right now, you can email them, and if you follow the methods and the trains and stuff that we have, or you take actual action, again, you can get results off that. Like when Jackie sold, the schema that she mentioned on last week's call. I don't know exactly how she sold that, but I'm guessing for the fact that she sold that, I think within like a week or two of actually, getting the tools and all that, it tells me that she just took immediate action and didn't overthink that too much there. So that's the best way right there. But again, we have very like exact ways that we talk about in the training and stuff. All right, so there's a question here where there's a couple guys asking on the schema, if a client has this or that, do they need a schema? The quickest way to basically tell is, well, inside the schema tool, you can see if they have a schema on their site, because there's a schema checker within the tool in WebFire, or even faster, if you just do a Google, basically a Google search for their business name and see what shows up. If they just look like a normal site, that's probably the quickest sign that they don't have a schema, or at least not a good one, right there. And so I see there's a lot of questions. So again, if you see any, in the meantime, feel free to shout out as well. And
people are asking you what's a schema because they haven't had a chance to catch up to you what it actually is.
Yeah, so I'll show that in a second. When I switch to the Facebook group, I'll show off that in a second. But Fred says that the link for the Facebook group does not work. My guess is that you typed it in wrong. So make sure that you type in getwebfire.com/FB group. That should work just fine, because I actually just used it about an hour ago, and that worked fine. And I haven't seen anyone else say that it does not work, so make sure that you type that in well. And yeah, and don't overthink, like if you need, like, if you're trying to sell a service where, like, you think you need like a web designer or anything like that, don't overthink that as well, because there's a ton of them out there. I mean, if you go to like any marketing forum out there, you'll find like tons of guys available. You can find guys on Fiverr, Fiverr.com. You can find guys on Craigslist, and oftentimes you can see examples of their work ahead of time. So don't overthink that too much. All right. Kelly, I think my guess, you're basically saying you think you have a different version of WebFire. You might be confusing it with Lead Power Machine, which is an extra tool we have there. So if you take a screenshot of what you're basically talking about and write support, they can make sure that you have the proper tool and all that right there.
Yeah, Frederick said Facebook worked now on Chrome, but it didn't work on Firefox. You got to love the fact that that's Facebook, huh?
Yeah, it should work on both. I don't know why it wouldn't, but so I mean, make sure it's typed in right both ways. But we'll make sure to double check that just to make sure. And yes, we'll offer. So we got a question if we'll cover more on basically the schema stuff. So yeah, on a future call we'll talk more on those. We have some prior trainings and stuff on those as well, but I'll share what that is in just a bit, and then maybe next week we can talk a bit more about that as well. So what I'll do is I'll just pause my screen for a second here, and Sean, feel free to like shout out a couple questions as I pull up the next screen and the Facebook page.
Yeah, Francis mentioned that a bunch of people are posting underneath the wrong discussion. They're posting underneath the one from last week. So you might need to refresh your Facebook page just to make sure you're on the discussion from this week, which will have a post dated November 2nd or close to that.
We'll say it's posted an hour ago. So
yeah, so we'll be good for that. All right. All right. Terry wants to talk about cold marketing. Yeah, Terry, most of what we do is cold marketing, and certainly in the training, I know that's what we talk about, is doing that. So we'll be able to definitely cover that. Brian, you're gonna swap over and show what the schema, what happens when you've got a schema on your site and how it shows in the rankings. It's much more impressive, and it ranks much better when you do that. And then the WebFire tool helps you create this. So we'll do some more training on schema coming up in the next 2 weeks, but we're not going to explain now how to do this. It's in WebFire, and there's a training on it, and you've got the tool. But the result is you get cool search engine results like this.
Yeah. So here is so here's a search for essentially a tennis shop right here, and you see this right here on the top left. You see not only a link to the site, and this is actually a client of ours. You see a link to a site, but you see several other web pages of his within that site showing up immediately underneath. And you also see him on the right side here too, where you see he has a picture of the store. He's on the map. You see the reviews. You see the hours, the address, the number. You see reviews right there. You see what social media that they have right there, like all listed right there. Now, that can all be done through the use of a schema, which is all very, very easy to basically do. We talked about this, I think, even on like 2 weeks ago, possibly last week, but we have lots of prior trains on it. But within the next 2 weeks, we'll have a call that will talk on just that, because that seems to be a popular topic. And another use of a schema is even right here on these two sites here. If you have the reviews that show up, that's all done by a schema. Whereas a site like this would not have a schema, like the Mason's Tennis, like this pretty boring and blah, and doesn't really stand out a ton compared to the tennis shop, which basically takes up the entire top and the entire right side, completely dominates. So if you're like, let's say, a restaurant, if you don't have a number to your place showing up, and you don't rank for Chinese restaurant, if you're a Chinese restaurant, you can bet not a lot of people will click through and try to look up that info themselves. They want the number right there, and they want the hours right there, and all that right there, which you can do through the use of a schema. So that's what makes this really, really powerful. And to a business, it's like, hey, do you want to be this guy down here, or do you want to be like this guy up here and over here? Obviously, everyone say, I want to be like this guy right there. So the value to them can be worth a fortune because they see why it helps them. They understand why it helps them. And for like $1,000 or so, they think, man, obviously that'd be way, 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 way worth it. And they can see why that they can make that back very, very quickly. And then, of course, you can get your foot in the door and sell it even more. And, of course, with WebFire, that would just be under SEO and keywords. We go to schema, and it has all the instructions right here. And then, you can pick like, what kind of schema you want it for. Like it could be for a local site or anything like that. And then for a local one, it basically asks you just to basically fill in the blanks. If you have like just a blog, you can do the same thing and be like almost like a news type site and have that show up right there. So just fill in the blank right there. After that, you just click save, and then you paste the code on their site. After you click create code, then you can test it to see if it shows up, or test it to see if they have a schema to start with as well. So again, very, very easy, but very powerful, at the same time as well. Right there. So again, it works for all sorts of stuff, whether it's a blog, a local business, a product page, a site name, or an e-commerce site. We even recently just added the ability to add it to Shopify as well. So we're actually adding that in right there. I mean, it's done now, but we'll have it probably posted up, within like a day or so. So some pretty cool stuff right there. So that's that part. So now, as for the cash giveaway and all that right there, and yes, make sure, as a side note, we'll keep the survey up for right now, but it probably won't be indefinitely. So if you're basically interested at all, go to myownsurvey.com/cause/apply. Just make sure to apply right now or as soon as you can today, and we'll go over that. As for the the giveaway, make sure to do a comment right here. I'll just refresh that page real quick. So you'll want to do right there. And just under right here, where we have a bunch of comments, make sure to do your post under right there. I see there's a handful of you that actually posted down here. We'll count those, but definitely try to see if you can post down here. And we see there's right now a lot of comments so far. I'll give guys maybe another minute or two to do that, and then we'll pick a winner. In the meantime, Sean, do you see any other questions as we give guys another minute or two?
Somebody was asking, if they approach 4 tennis shops and everybody wants them to do a schema, how would they show up? Would it be like one shop underneath another, and
yeah, it can be just that, but like keep in mind, like for like a local business, it's not like you'll get 4 local tennis shops that will all be like competing in the exact same area. You can also say, hey, maybe one guy wants to rank for a suburb of like Middleton versus Madison versus Verona or someplace like that. That's perfectly fine right there. Or if it's like
which are areas around where Brian lives, since no one else knows that.
Yeah, or like on top of that too, if like let's say it's for like a Chinese restaurant, okay, you will get obviously several of those will rank there, but it's basically the difference between being ranked with a bunch of others or not being ranked at all. Like would you rather compete with like 5 or 6 places, or would you rather basically be kicked out where you don't show up at all? I mean, it's a pretty easy decision at that point. So again, keep that in mind, right there, and I'll see if I can actually. So like right here, I just did a search for Chinese restaurant, Madison, Wisconsin. So if you want a more likely chance to show up, a schema can help with that right there. So it's like, would you rather be one of the top guys here, or would you rather be down here? So it's a different kind of schema that you can show up right there. And the interesting part is here, for this, you could actually, I'm shocked that this is actually this bad right here. In fact, most of these guys appear not to have that good of a schema. Like they don't have their hours, they don't have the number listed. So imagine for a Chinese restaurant, if you could get their, the phone number and their hours in the schema itself, do you think you might get more business? If you do a search for a Chinese restaurant and you're the only guy that has a number, do you think maybe people will be more likely to call you and show up? Absolutely. So again, it just goes to show how beneficial that can be for almost any site out there. And oftentimes what Google basically does, if you don't have a schema, they'll try to sometimes make one based upon like what info they have, but they usually are missing 3/4 of the info, so they don't list as much about you. But you can actually tell them what you want to show up in your schema, like your hours, and all that. If you're a local business, your number, your address. If you're not a local business, in fact, I'll show you right here. Like if you're, let's say you're just a blog, you could show up kind of like this right here, where you'd have the date that it was posted. It could show up, in news and stuff like that, which is much better than just a simple link without a picture. So that's kind of cool right there. If you're, let's say, like a product page, you can have it show up right there where you have reviews if you want. You can say what kind of stock you have or the price or anything. So that's all done, again, through the use of a schema. So there's lots of different kinds of schemas that you can do. Even for like a video, you can have it show up like that right there versus not at all. But obviously, I think the easiest sell is for like a local business, because they see the huge benefit that they could have by showing up like this right here if they want to right there. So with that, Let's do maybe, Sean, one more question if you see one, and then we'll do the cash giveaway. Just to give guys a little more time to do the comment right there. So if you see a question, Sean, you can shout that out, and then we'll get done with the cash giveaway.
Yeah, a lot of people are all worried about delivering a product to the customer before the customer pays. First of all, I understand your concern, but you don't have to deliver it until they actually pay you. We charge up front. If you're doing a huge job, you could just charge a deposit for part of the job for them. If you're doing business with people who seem really slimy, then you probably just shouldn't do business with them. Okay, but the truth is, most business owners will pay you. Even if you don't get a deposit up front when you deliver what you've told them you're going to deliver. That they're going to you're adding the code. You can prove that you added the code, etc. to them. But we, at the very least, I'd be getting 50% of the money up front as a deposit, so that you just take out that risk that you have of not getting paid and having a problem. But multiple people have asked this question, so I wanted to address it. It's really not a big deal.
Yep. All right. So with that, let's do the giveaway now. So I will refresh this page right here. And we see there's 58 comments right here. Get them all up right there. Plus 58 plus. On top of that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so 5 plus 58 still. See if there's any popped up. Yep, so in total that'd be 63. So we'll go to random.org right there. I'll say 1 to 63. And 60. All right, that makes it easy. So that would be the third one back, or fourth one back, actually. So fourth one back from the end. So that's out of the main ones right here, I think. Fourth one back. 1, 2, 3. Then 4. So let me just double check that that's right. 2, 3, 4. All right, so I'm probably saying your name wrong. Yahadris. I know that we actually met you in Brighton, actually, because I remember that. But if that's you right there, just let us know your PayPal. Just write it in the chat right here, and Sharon will get you $100 paid to your PayPal today. But just make sure to give us your PayPal info right there. And again, congratulations on being $100 richer. And thanks to everyone else that gave comments and stuff on this right here. So hopefully you got a lot of value out of all that right there. And once again, guys, too, make sure that even if you're somewhat interested, make sure that again you apply at this link right here. It's just myownsurvey.com/cause/apply. There should be a link in the chat as well right there. We'll go through each one, and if we think that we're a good fit, we'll let you know. And again, guys, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you'll be working with us to create your own high-end product or service. Now, you certainly can go use all the training, just on this call and do some of it yourself, but you can accelerate it and get access to us and our resources and literally be essentially guaranteed to walk away with your own high-end service within a very short time right here and be making sales and a quick ROI off that right there. Because this is oftentimes the difference between taking months or even years and getting the jumpstart way to have this done in like a week's time or so if you're a fast action taker. It's also nice to have basically access to us where we have tons of resources. We know where prospects and stuff are. We're open to JVs and stuff like that too. And oftentimes, a lot of guys we find will try to target a service that they could sell for, let's say $100, but with a handful of tweaks, they could possibly sell for thousands of dollars a pop, or even in some cases, even thousands of dollars a month just by a handful of easy tweaks. And we can see that stuff that a lot of you oftentimes can't. So if you're interested in that, make sure to go to that link right there. Sean, is there anything else you want to add in before we wrap up this call? I know it's gone a bit long, but there's been a lot of info on this call.
I think we're good. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for being members. Encourage you to go out, take action, and follow these steps because it will work. And again, a reminder for everybody that was affected by the time change because the U.S. didn't change and your country time zone did. Next week, the U.S. is changing time zones, so should go back in most cases except for the people on the other side of the world, like in Australia, where you're going the opposite direction of fall back and spring forward. You guys are on your own, but the U.S. is moving this weekend an hour. So all the people in Europe that were off an hour this week will be back at your normal time next week. So thank you all, and we will see you next week.